And if, in your reading, you've acquiesced unto my autobiographical assertion, in good faith granted my foreground, and accepted it that in these things I've been genuine, and that I haven't exaggerated to gain sway, and I haven't, but I've each memory reported and ruminated in fair aspect and assessment, and still, albeit you've allowed my authentic annal, yet in all this abysmal account, you've not been alarmed by anything that I've avouched, or yet in all this abysmal account, you've not been alarmed by anything that I've avouched, or disturbed by any of these dismal details, nor have yet found cause for pause, for that these things they confront you not, know that they will. For a line is being drawn in the sand, like a border barrier upon the land, between flesh and faith, singular inclination and social, secular and spirit. And these invaders are looking to repeal the 13th, and to possess this pale people, to own we ghostly gringos. But these hicks are looking to crucify me, for they sought the cream of our Caucasian crop, and for the best and brightest of this wasp binary, this incorrect Christian, this erroneous Protestant, and they've found me. And these hicks mean to murder me in mass spectacle before their white subjects whenever they should achieve their victory, to torture me in tribute to their victory over Blanco, and in front of him, to rub it in Blanco's face that he lost last, and to show the world that I'm what became of this free American speech, and of he who was brave enough to open his mouth against them, to warn his people, who nonetheless would not hear him, or heed the dire warning, or the worthy witness that he gave. But by all means, you white, dim-witted cattle, keep being holier than thou, and apologizing for the sins you didn't commit. Keep confusing political correctness with morality. Keep being guilted into your own subjugation. Keep watching the nightly news and trusting what international propaganda tells it to tell you, and feeling how it wants you to, that only white people are racist, and that whites are only wrong. Keep letting the major networks manipulate your sympathy and self-righteousness, and dissolve your defensive instinct, and dilute the validity of rational fears, and exploit the decency of well-meaning morons. And keep distracting yourselves with binge-watching nonsense, and retreating into fantasy, just as your enemies would have you, and practice walking dead like your false idols, while everyone plots and organizes action against you, for they've already owned your economic. You thoughtless computer programs, you vegetative mental states, you lazy lethargic net losses, you brain-dead douchebags, keep relying on someone else to protect you and letting others do all your thinking. Keep believing in superheroes, that the good guys win by virtue of villains being bad, and hoping that someone else will thwart those who devise your destruction, and that somebody will be there to help. Pray for Superman to save the day, and wait for Iron Man to rescue you as you smelt, you dumb dross. Yet here am I, and here I am still, and alone I'm here to get the word out. Although it will be unpopular and protested, and vehemently received, and furiously refuted, and might incur me the answers of wrath. Well, all these things, these personalized terrors and impersonal apprehensions, they are threatening, but they're nothing that I worry too much about. And can you, or will Leviathan by a hook be drawn out? Yet here I'm rigged upon the lure, like stink-bait golden calf manure, because like Job I'm persecuted, and this recompense of now my execution, and all this venom that I've spewed, my insults to provoke him to, and all my shameful self-promotion, all this boastful, proud devotion, my noise from all their locomotion, All this vanity I vaunt, consider it my better taunt, and things that also might compel Leviathan from where he dwell, to stir about beneath the water, as ocean temps are getting hotter, and swim around like nervous pace, and give away his water place, to draw this water monster out, and bind this dragon all about. Yet notwithstanding, consider this the warning call, and the sound of the ram's horn, for there is danger in the land, and may this rouse an appropriate fear, and let the people stir. Only be the faithful firm in believing, to prosper calm with hope, and the brave resolved and confident, to excel strength with courage. But I mean, if the worm in the berm, which watched for my walking, wasn't cause for your concern, nor the thought of animal administered abomination worrisome to you, or weaponized wildlife, and your pets equipped for espionage most grotesque and trespass, because there is no care for what is fair, nor human love in war, if you've even considered it, and then, having thusly pondered, if you convince yourself that they probably wouldn't use such a thing as the sentinel berm worm, something so formidable, seemingly indefensible, indetectable, so convenient in a versatile application, so effective a measure of such invasive surveillance, that they probably wouldn't use it irresponsibly. These seedy, sweaty, violence-aroused, vile, voyeuristic Spartans, they surely can be trusted not to wield such an abominable technology to gratify the disgusting impulses of their every sick, perverted pleasure. It would be illegal, you see, or most likely, probably, hopefully would be, but so that they certainly wouldn't squirm a worm within the walls or wiggle one through waterways into your home to watch your kids tinkle and look at their little buttholes from underneath within the toilet as your children go. Because isn't that the way that man is? Conscientious, moral, ethical, reasonable, rational, responsible, steadfast in his duty to basic dignity and privacy and common respect for everyone, benevolent ever at all, and not the most malignant mutation of contemptible creature ever yet by contrary chromosome conceived, the most corrupt cancer by chemistry contaminant concocted, nor villainous and forever self-serving, or does always dumb to decency, especially when there are no specific laws in the books to define and demand he doesn't, and to deny each new use of his every new technology. And if you think they would stop at worms, instead that if you talk too much or speak too often towards discontent, your goldfish suddenly should start to stare, its eyes too following you everywhere, as though it were now somehow aware, but more had care for when you're there. Or that birds on the bow should watch to and fro, and show where you go, like a camera through the eyes of a flying crow, to any who should want to know, but doesn't want their sight to show, and wish to stay incognito, and his drones are so conspicuous. And if these evil ventriloquists could wield my dead dogs about me, like meat puppets, kept electric by synthetic metabolic, then who and how could you ever trust? Well, if none of all these considerations yet cause your quiver, then I doubt there's any apprehension that I might have pondered which should have grabbed your attention, or disquieted your stoic reserve. And do I, in this dispensation of dark light, do I joust unjustly? Do I tilt at windmills, and posture myself against enemies perceived, but not present? Or have I described the smell of smoke besiege, and the feel of flames from human heat? Or do I expound on such things as baptism by fire? Because otherwise this were all an exercise in coincidence, and demonstration unto the dual nature of delusion, half maladaptive, half imposed like easy persuasion. Anyway, I'll leave that with you and let it stew. I guess that's for you to decide, for here in stride our ended ride. But just, alright, hold on. Give me a moment. Okay, then turn about, straighten out, back a bit forward, and there we are, and all done. And here we are, and we've arrived at the casino. And see, I've only finished and just now parallel parked. But forgive me, thanks for bearing with me, that its antiquated maneuver is still foreign to a country bumpkin like me, and still as yet unfamiliar to this small town boy from Illinois. I'm quickly getting better at it though. This is the 7th straight trip, once a week, and this the 7th straight week, in which I have followed this same itinerary, plasma center to the casino to the gym, and the 7th straight week outside the casino that I've parked parallel along this side. I dumped a bunch of money on the roulette table this last summer. It was immediately after being fired from the inn. It was immediately after being fired from the inn. Literally, conference room to car to casino. Yeah, but the two unfortunate occurrences, and that's unfortunate, not unlucky, which implies randomness and assigns a meaninglessness to chaos. The two events were hardly related, beyond cause and effect, of course. That I suddenly needed a source of income, propelling my ponder in the exploration of palatable possibilities. I wasn't emotionally distressed or anything, though, self-destructive, nor had the former any emotional bearing on the latter. In fact, I showed up at the inn that Tuesday morning ready to lose my job. That prior Friday, I answered upon Sally saying something stupid onto my insult. Then I doubled down on dumb and petty recompense. Sally threw a fit. Ron worked some shit. And I was dismissed early to the weekend, told to take Monday off, and a meeting scheduled for first thing Tuesday. Yet, unto so that I spent the interceding weekend scheming what I thought was a foolproof roulette strategy. Because, hey, I'll soon be needing how to make money, and hey, gambling can make money, and hey, I love roulette, and its fleeting wheel, when where the ball will fall, presumes the only sweet semblance of precious spontaneity, still as yet stimulus to this suspicious numb-somatic. So I walked into the casino, fresh from my firing from the inn, with 12 of all my $1,700 in the whole world, ready to put my money to work. Without getting too technical, I was essentially taking the most primitive roulette logic and turning it upon its head. Because let's say you play 6 numbers, 6 out of the 38 possible pockets into which the ball has an equal chance of landing on any given spin against the roulette wheel. Let's say you play 6 numbers though, maybe 7. You feel like you never win. So conversely, if you bet on every outcome except for 6 or 7, then logically, you should never lose. You should feel like you always win, right? So placing 32 $25 bets, each paying out 35 to 1, it costs $800 to net $900 on a winner, forfeiting $775 in losing bets and retaining the $25 winning bet. Not a great ratio, risking $800 to win $100. Like I said, you never hit playing 5 or 6 numbers. And with 6 out of 7 chances on each spin of winning, roughly, but more like 13 out of 15 chances, I can assume with some relative safety that I won't lose more than twice in every 8 spins. And therefore I should be good, right? Wrong. What I failed to anticipate, of course, was how soon the joint would get wise to my little strategy, and so would instruct the speedy spin and the hasty play of their dealer. The first few rolls with the first dealer went well enough, and I was up. The second guy, though, was quickly a disaster. His soft spin, after removing the glass marker from off the winning number of the previous roll, officially opening the table for bets, was instantaneous to the placement of the first bet on the table, immediately once upon the table, making it impossible to lay down the other 30 or so more before he should wave off any more bets. This meant that I lost less money on each loss, but lost more often, and netted more with each win, but that I won less frequently. How then, if not convenient, how particularly unexpected then, when 3 greens over 6 spins sealed the deal. I had money on its first hit. But I mean, the whole strategy is to pick 6 numbers that the ball won't land on and don't bet on them. And the green zeros are just 2 spaces of 38, like any other. So then it hits, and it's like, but then it hits, and it's like, well, that probably won't hit again too very soon. Now for the next few spins, I only have to pick 5 numbers, since surely the ball won't land green twice in so few spins, and certainly not 3 times, because, well, how often should green hit? Which logic, of course, isn't statistically viable, in that 0 and 00 are no less likely than any other number to have recurring hits, or any pair of numbers to have recurring hits over a short sequence. And as each spin is an independent event, all the same, in the accumulate spectrum of 6 spin stretches, well, it's also not unheard of. It's hardly normal, but 3? Well, that's what I meant when I said that it was particularly unexpected, because, well, how many times and within how short a sequence should 2 and 38, should 5.2% hit, despite that no spin should bear weight on another? So I bet it, win. It wins. Then I figured that won't hit again soon. Don't bet it. Win on another number. Don't bet it. Bam. Again, 00. Twice in 3 spins. I lose big. Then I bet it. Win on another number. I bet it. Win on another number. Then I bet 00. In case the impossible happened, like that would have been impossible. In case the impossible happens, bet 00 but not 0 among 30 some other bets. Bam! 0. Third green in 6 spins. And that was it. Within 40 minutes, $1,200 were fucked off, and I fucked myself henceforth that I'm fucked up and broke over it still. Anyway, because of that day, and all those lost dollars, documented on my player's card, in accordance probably with some legal obligation, making replenish at such rate or as such percentage at such loss, or to take advantage of some tax loophole which grants incentives for charitable appropriations and advertising gimmicks that qualify as such. At the beginning of both last month, October, and with the start of this month of my November double Scorpio, I received large rectangular postage from the casino, printed on thick laminated poster board paper material and perforated through the axis of a quadrant, separating 4 coupon vouchers, each redeemable at the casino's cashier counter when presented with my player's card and an ID, for a free weekly $15. This one redeemable for $15 between this day and this day, that one for $15 between that day and that day, that $15 within these days, such and so forth, etc. It's promotional, meant to draw you in the door. And I imagine that most customers who redeem the offer simply play the free bet and don't take the free cash and walk out and merely leave instead, as venturing into, and finally onto the gaming floor, before then at last to the counter at its far side, is all something of an adventure and an undertaking endeavor in itself. Yet to resist then the charm of its chance and ignore its oh so hopeful allure. But I do. Have to. And I have. For the past 6 prior weeks I have. Walked in, made exchange, and walked out, cash in hand. In fact, the 90 piddling accumulate dollars which I've redeemed over the last 6 weeks heretofore, supplement to blood plasma prostitution, is the only thing that has me yet afloat in my habits, spinning in the cyclic motion of my chemical wheels and their narcotic tires turning during these desperate times. So, They might have switched on the magnets underneath the green zeros last summer to thusly rob me that Tuesday morning. But the convenient sustenance with which the casino has so opportunely provided my recent help, it's proven utmost timely, if not absolutely felicitous, and nothing shy of positively indispensable. That they've done it right by me, all in all. And as I was a dumb fuck, dumb enough to gamble with dire dollars in the first place.